Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. It's me. Yay. We made it to Sunday. Anyways, this Schreiner ruffle brooch was in my short feed, and you all had asked to see it in the light box. So here she is in all her grandness, and signed on the inside, Schreiner, New York, and it's a ruffle pin, and it is one of the rarest of the Schreiner brooches. Look at those, what they called keystone rhinestones. And they called them keystone rhinestones for a reason. Look how magnificent. Golden yellow, so absolutely beautiful. Look at the dimensionalness of that brooch, and it's incredible. These have been selling for thousands and thousands on eBay. If you go on there now, I think one is like 7,500, and they have one bargain priced at like 4,800. So this is magnificent for a Schreiner rhinestone brooch, Schreiner of New York. I'll do future videos on Schreiner because you know I have a very large collection of their work, but I had to show you that. Absolutely exquisite. And on that one, I would say date on that right around the late 1960s. So there you go for a Schreiner ruffle brooch. And absolutely exquisite. Look how gigantic it is. It's just a monstrously large brooch. So anyways, amazing, fantastic, and I love it very much. On to why we're here today. I'll just do a quick haul video. This is a Bixby ring that I bought with Jeremy. It's a large blue topaz, approximately 15 to 18 carats. Blue topaz, and then accented with 18 karat gold leaves and set in sterling silver, signed Bixby on the inside. This was $10 at a pawn shop. So I immediately scooped that up with Jeremy, and I said, absolutely yes. I think I found it on eBay. A comp was around 149 to 175. So you can see, I'll buy something like this all day long for $10 and then make a great amount of money on it. And Jeremy said yes to that, of course. He said, oh, absolutely, grab that. This was also $10. It's amethyst and sterling silver. I loved that deep cushion cut. It is a lighter amethyst, but it's absolutely beautiful, and I loved the mounting. Really thick sterling silver. And Jeremy even noticed, he said, wow, that shank is very well done and very thick. And I said, yes, it is. And wearability wise, it is a stunning amethyst. So that was $10, and I said absolutely yes on that. This one was also $10. This came from Hartville. That was slightly more, but this was $10. And I believe it's faceted blue fluorite. I'll have to do a little bit more research with this. Again, it just came in just 2 days ago. It is fantasy cut, and some people say, quantum cut and all these terms. It's convex and fantasy cut. So those facets are convex on the surface, cut down into the stone. I don't get into those, quantum this and quantum that, and I don't get into all those names. We know that I don't. This is fantasy cut is what I consider it, and absolutely beautiful. Sterling silver mounting, look at the way it's stepped up off the finger. In my jewelry that I make, I love making mountings that are dramatic. And that's very cool, the way they set that up on almost a lozenge shape loop shank, and then step that up off the finger. That was also $10. So that was magnificent. And thank you so much for joining in. Again, happy Sunday to all of you. This is diamonds in sterling. These diamonds are great for diamonds. Normally, when they put diamonds in silver, they're not this kind of quality. Sterling silver, that very classic, swooping, almost ribbon style mounting, very reminiscent of the late 1980s. This one would be around 2000, maybe 2010, 2015, when they started putting diamonds in sterling. Beautiful diamonds, very well done, great mounting, really nice and thick. That was $20. So I said yes to that, absolutely. It's probably a carat and a quarter or carat and a half of diamonds. Really beautifully done baguettes, but a fantastic glittering ribbon. I loved that. This I bought at a pawn shop. No, I'm sorry. I bought this at the antique shop down in Canton. My friend Barb owns it. She's a wonderful lady, and I always like to, I like to be a patron of people who treat me right. This is green tourmaline, pink tourmaline, champagne tourmaline, yellow or golden tourmaline, and then another pink tourmaline and a lighter greenish yellow tourmaline. But all of those are genuine tourmaline gemstones, arts and crafts mounting. So right at the turn of the last century, circa 1910, maybe 1915, definitely arts and crafts original, that wire twist, beautiful hand-constructed bezels. You can kind of see the color zoning in that center tourmaline, knowing that it's real, knowing that it's a genuine tourmaline. Beautiful, beautiful faceting. This, I think it's this one, or let's see here. Let me make sure I'm telling you correctly. It might be this one. This one is European cut. So it's got a large culet, a large back facet where those points come together. So you know that that's an older cut stone. But you can tell on this mounting that that's an arts and crafts original. And I did buy this one for myself. I treated myself to this, and I just thought that was beautiful and well done, and I would for sure wear this. It's very directional, north, east, south, and west. Really just a beautiful thing, very naturalistic, and I could talk about that for a whole lot longer. So thank you again so much, and sorry, I'm a little bit louder today than normal. These were at a flea market, and I picked these up to show you. I will buy things that are really affordable. These are listener, and a lot of times when we see these, we know that lava or moon rock, rhinestone is an indicator that Trifari used that a lot, because they're glass stones, aurora borealis finish, and then spaced with yellow aurora borealis, but a ribbon twist design in between. And these are clearly marked listener on the clips. These were $2, and for half hoop earrings for $2, I said absolutely, because someone definitely out there has the brooch and or the necklace and needs these earrings. So those will head to eBay. So someone that has the necklace and the set can then complete their set. I bought these little guys from my friend Jake, and I've known Jake for quite a few years now. And Jake has a beautiful Asian collection of both Chinese and Japanese and maybe even some Korean items. He's been a longtime collector, and he decided to part with these and let these leave his collection. And I loved them, foo dogs or temple lions or whatever you want to call them. There's no fight about it whatsoever. I always consider them foo dogs or temple guardians, but beautiful male and female. And there's a long story there between masculine and feminine energy. I really liked the polychrome colors in these specific colors: a lime green, a chocolate brown, and a kind of grass green on this kind of yellow ochre or very mellow golden color. The bottoms do have some age to them, and you can see where maybe some iron oxide entered the porcelain body or was done when they were fired, but I really liked how they got in and opened up the mouths and the teeth, and then these little tiny tongues inside, and these faces, the happiness on those faces was what brought me to allow their energy to protect my home and to protect my things, and to bring me beautiful energy and protection. I just really loved these, and coming from a collection that is so well curated, and Jake's been at it a long time. He took these out because he's kind of downsizing his collection, like most collectors. He's advancing his collection by letting lesser things go. I do have some other food dogs in my collection, but these two, I just had to have them. So they made me very happy. So I bought those. These I picked up, and they were moderately priced, by the way. These I picked up at the flea market, and they were $1. And I believe these to be late 50s, maybe early 60s. They reminded me so much of the same sunglasses that one of the original Barbie dolls wore. It's these almost cat eye or winged style sunglasses, original label. So these were never worn. No one ever wore these. And then these inset little studs and Aurora Borealis rhinestones. I loved the simplicity and the sleekness of the black. And then the green lenses really it just set it off. Just great. And then they are signed. Let's see if they're signed up on the lens. They're signed up in here. Right there. There you go. Not sure exactly what that says, but at least they're signed up in there. And then they are signed on the arms here, and it says the name of the company, and then made in Italy. So it's signed up in there as well. And it looks like maybe SOL Flex. I think that's what the lens was signed as well. So there you go. And I don't know, I really liked these. And normally I don't buy vintage sunglasses, but they were in such good shape and never worn. I would think that these would be all scratched up, but those were in great condition. So those had to come home with me as well. And then I had another one of these in one of my videos, and I just found a second one. The other one I had was all scratched up, but black acrylic. This is by Trifari. It's made to look Art Deco. There's the Trifari mark, the Crown Trifari. I think this was made in the 60s, but black acrylic or lucite if you wish, but more so acrylic. Rhodium plated and then inset with dazzling rhinestones. I think they're all there. And then a rhinestone chain. And of course, sometimes those chains, the color of the stones will darken over time. But I really liked the dynamic nature of that. That was moderately priced. I think that was $10. And then this one, I wasn't sure I was going to buy it because I knew this was a marriage and I knew this was an old belt buckle. There is a small little chip on the enamel paint made to look like turquoise beads in those flower heads. But these turquoise beads were great. I believe that they're Chinese. By the matrix and the color and the size and the shape of the beads, I believe those to be Chinese turquoise, which I love, by the way. I love Chinese turquoise. And then this beautiful hook style clasp in sterling silver. This was $2. And so I figured for $2, definitely would be very sellable. Definitely very sellable. I'll probably take it to a local show and see if I can get maybe I can get $35 for it because it's unusual, wearable, very lovely in its design, and I like the drop. I like the way this metal is oxidized to make it look old. So there you go. And sorry if I feel a little bit off today, but I didn't sleep well last night. Last night I was up quite late and just have a couple things on my mind. But this is a landscape painting, and I loved everything about this. It reminded me of like Superman ice cream or sherbet or treats when I was a kid, because it had this candy colored purple, fuchsia, orange, and lime green, really beautifully executed painting underneath an acrylic or resin cap. It is signed on the back, and I paid $2 for this one. I like the ribbon that it's on. I do like the bail that is there, but that landscape of these trees on this beautiful sunset and the way it glows, that was a yes for me for $2. That's a lot of work for just $2 to be hand painted and beautiful. I said yes. This was on kind of a junk table, and I was with my friend Jody, and we were out at Hartville, and we were walking around and palling around, having a great time together. And I walked up to this table, and I was joking with him, and I said, "God, I sure hope these things are cheap." and they were. The whole table was $3 each. So this unscrews. I don't want to unscrew it all the way, but this unscrews, and it was basically a hat ornament, or would go on the collar area, but it's apple juice Bakelite, made to look like amber, but that's apple juice Bakelite faceted. And as soon as I saw that internal glow, I just knew, yes, it's Bakelite. The evenness of the color as well would not be amber, and no inclusions, not a single inclusion in those, quote, stones. Love that this end cap was still there. Normally you'll find this stick pin or hat pin with just the top portion, and this would be missing, but that was great that was there. That was so cool that that was still present. So that was $3. That made me very, very happy. Maybe maybe it'll go in my collection for a little while. I don't know, but thank you again so much. And please, in the comment section, leave a comment and just tell me what your favorite piece is in the video. I like that kind of feedback because then I know kind of what to talk about the next time when I come on. This came from my friend Mimi. And I bought quite a bit of Bakelite from her, which you'll see in just a moment. And this is 930 silver. So it's slightly better than sterling. So it's 930. And definitely such a beautiful design of this open work and hand pierce work. I loved these crosses spaced throughout this kind of abstract talisman. I thought at first it was Israeli. I'm not exactly sure because they made such designs like this in Norway as well. So I'm not exactly 100% sure on origin on this. So I'll do a little bit more research before I get too carried away and tell a story that's not accurate, because I love to stay accurate on my channel because that's why you're all here with me. You like the accurate nature of my videos. Let's see. This was interesting. I bought this on a table. It was, I think everything was $2. Maybe it was $2 on this table. It's a postage stamp that was made out of silver. And it's made out of silver, and it's pure silver. It's 1,000 of 1,000 parts are silver. So that's a pure silver. It's a postage stamp made out of pure silver. And I just thought that is so interesting. The design work, the beautiful face, and I loved that it had almost a postmark. Like that was, actually, went through the mail and a postmark. Not exactly sure what this was used for, besides, a commemorative piece, beautifully executed. And, as a miniature, I loved that. And $2, I think in silver alone, it's probably 10 or 15 now, because silver had went up so much. And I'll talk about the metals values in the coming videos, what I think is going to happen and what I've seen over the years to kind of give you a little bit of information, at least from my vantage point. This was interesting. I also bought this from someone at the it was a kind of a rummage sale, I guess you could say, but this gentleman was so nice, and it's a miniature alabaster book, and it's made to look like a book. So it's carved all the way around on 3 sides, and there's the binding of the book. So this would go on a bookshelf, and then there's this commemorative, beautiful basilica of some sort, and a cathedral or church. Not exactly sure where this is at. I'm sure someone in the comments will know. And I'm sure once I look it up, I'll figure it out. But like I've told you, I don't AI or Google Lens anything. I feel like that's making collectors and in general dealers very, very lazy. I never want to be complacent, and I never want to be lazy. So I will do my research on this and figure that out without Google Lens. And this is a faceted piece of glass that's so carefully inset into this alabaster. But look at how beautiful that carving is. So this is around 1895, 1900. Definitely a souvenir of this place, and meant to be brought home. I guess in my mind it's just a miniature book that went on a bookshelf, or it could have been used as a paperweight because it's the perfect size to be a very grand paperweight in a later Victorian aesthetic home. So that was just really beautifully done, and I there's something about this. The energy on this was magnificent, and I really loved that as well for a miniature. And let's face it, I think a lot of the things that I've been seeing lately, what do I say? Smaller things are selling better. Let me say it that way. People are running out of room, and they have a tendency to be consuming smaller pieces that they can fit into their collections, if that makes sense. This is Blue Moon Bakelite, highly modeled and marbleized, and this is also Blue Moon. When people say they didn't have blue Bakelite, they most certainly did. They also had purple. They also had pink. So there's a lot of colors that a lot of people don't don't think are true Bakelite, but these are, and these would 100% test with Simichrome. You can see that the blue is much brighter on the inside, and it gets darker and mottled on the outside, because I've talked with you about that oxidation, that suntan that I like to say Bakelite gets. A suntan or oxidation on the surface that changes that kind of internal color and patterning. And then cherry red, a 3 kind of ribbon or kind of pillow carved, and then a beautiful blue moon spacer, again mottled, and then a very lovely bright tomato or a lipstick red with slight marbleization of yellow. Thought those as a color combination were magnificent. Or you could just wear those two together, or just wear these two together, or just wear these two together if you wanted to. So I liked the fact that Bakelite was interchangeable, and you can always switch up your wardrobe with Bakelite items. So there's those. And then I bought these from Mimi. I bought these from Mimi, and I was really happy with these two. These other 3, I think I bought these down in Berlin. Yeah, I bought these 3 in Berlin. These 2 came from Mimi. There we go. Now I figured it out. This beautiful lime green rope twist, I thought that was magnificent. Very deep-walled, very thick. Bakelite collectors like that thickness. Easier to stack with other pieces. This kind of rope twist, and then floral, carved 3 floral bands all the way around in that kind of wheat pattern. This marbleized one in lime green and brown, really beautiful. If you want to call that end of the day Bakelite, I won't disagree with you. They definitely had brown running, and they definitely had green running, producing that day. And then at the end of the day, they just put together what they had left and poured another tube, and then cut this the next day. So, or 2 days later, once it cured and was, put through the process of curing, this is the match to this one. Slightly lighter in color, but that one was great. And I got these 2, like I said, from Mimi, and she's got wonderful Bakelite. And I love supporting my fellow dealers that are friends. I love keeping money flowing amongst the friends. I think that's very important in business because there's so few of us left. I've once said about the staying power of antique dealers, and we're problem solvers, and we're industrious, and we stick together when times are tough. I wish everybody did that in life. We'd be much better off. But, antique dealers, very much so a tight-knit group because there's so few of us left. There's been a lot that have come and gone, and, I've always said that, there's, persistence kind of pays off in life, and I've always been persistent with my jobs. This is beautiful. This is orange, and it's kind of this linked design. It looks like separate links that were put together because this artist got up underneath there and carved underneath this edge to make these look like interlocking pieces. This is orange Bakelite. It's just over 1 inch wide. Loved the oxidation on the surface. I loved the polish. Sometimes when you get Bakelite, it's a little dull. You can brighten it up with a little bit of Simichrome polish. I'll show you how to do that safely in coming videos because a lot of you have asked, how do you clean your pieces? Well, I'll be settling into that. I only have, I have about another 1,000 videos I want to do. So, and that's truthful. I said I'd never run out of content, and it's absolutely true. So, today I was going to do a different video on, and I wanted to say on this one, I think I paid 90 or 100, which I was, it was a little bit of a splurge, but I didn't mind. Sometimes when you get something like that, you have to pay up. And then I think we're down to, we're not down to just these. I went to the pawn shop and I bought, let's get this out of here. Went to the pawn shop and I bought this little booklet, and I thought this was really interesting because I've always been taught that, it's easy to make money and it's hard to save money. Which is true. So it's easy to make, it's difficult to hold on to. And this was a really interesting way that a bank back in the day, probably in the maybe 40s, I'm guessing on this, the way that this is laid out, and the age of most of the coins in here being Mercury head dimes, maybe this was even into the 50s, but they were basically saying, the easiest way to save $1 is first to save the dimes. So basically, it was this additive process of, look, you saved 10 cents, and then you saved 20 cents, and then you saved 30, 40, 50, all the way up to $3. A lot of people were just putting these away basically for a rainy day. I think, America should probably take a hint from this. It's time to save. And I loved the oxidation on these. Let me sneak this one out of here. And of course, they don't want to come out because they've been in there for a long time. They don't want to be bothered. Here I go, bothering everything. But they're Mercury head dimes. And I think the date on this one, I'm not going to be able to see that without my loupe. 40 something, 41 maybe. Everyone's probably screaming, it's 1941. Yeah, I can see it now. So 1941, Mercury had dime. So I was probably right. This was probably constructed in the later 40s because they probably had that in pocket change. But interestingly enough, this is when American coins had silver content in them. And I believe these, I'm not 100% sure because I'm not a coin dealer, I'm not a coin collector. I know a little bit, but I think they have about 90% of the metal is actually silver. So these have silver content. And this little booklet, they charged me at the pawn shop, they charged me $35. Well, I was more than grateful to do it because I knew the value was there just in metal alone, which it is. And then some of these are very early. Some of these are much, much older. This is a 1916. And that's one dime from 1916. And then I believe there's one, maybe one that was slightly earlier. Let's see here. Oh yeah, 1901 on this one. So yeah, there were some that were, much, much older that this person had, quote, saved, they put away. There's a few more that were very early. This one. There were some more that were definitely older than the Mercury head dimes. But I wanted to show you that because I thought that was interesting and a really beautiful way to save money back in the day, and banks promoting people to save rather than take out a line of credit or, let's do this, or take out a home loan or a line of credit or this or that. This was fantastic, and it's very heavy. This booklet, for only having $3 in dimes, is extremely heavy. So I thought that was magnificent. So be on the lookout and check your spare change. I was telling my one friend who deals in coins, let me zoom in on these. I was telling my one friend who deals in coins, I went to the gas station one day, and I got some change. And in my change, there were 3 quarters, and 2 of them were actually silver. And I heard the difference. You can hear the metal difference. It just sounds different. Silver just sounds different. And so I saw that there were 2 silver coins, quarters, actual silver, in my change. So I went back in and I said to her, I collect coins, and there were a couple coins in the, I didn't tell her the exact truth, but I told her there were a couple coins that I really liked. And so I asked for dollar and change. And do you know that dollar was 4 more silver quarters that are worth 10 times face value? So each one was worth $2.50. So I went back to my car, got another, I got another 4 quarters out of my little compartment by my dashboard, and I brought those 4, and I said, can you trade me, 4 more out of the drawer, just random, for these? And she did, and 3 of the 4 were silver. So I found 8 silver quarters. Anyways, just fascinating. So check your pocket change is my point. It doesn't happen often anymore, but please humor me, and maybe you'll find a silver coin in your pocket change. And if you do, please let me know in the comments, because I'm curious to know if my information is helpful or if it's just a story you don't want to hear. These are black spinel and sterling silver. This one was $20. And of course, the way it was constructed, the undercarriage, and the fact that it is sterling is magnificent. And I loved the impression of this. Very large, but very low, very easy to wear. So the profile is very low to the finger, very wearable. But that was 20, and I said, with that kind of dazzle and being black and silver, goes with everything. Beautiful for, a fancy occasion. So I said yes to that for $20. Came with this one as well. This one was $20. I'm not sure on the stones on this. Initially, I thought these were all synthetic. Now I'm not so sure. I looked with a loupe. I saw a little bit of color zoning in 2 of them. They might be synthetic sapphire, and they might be natural. So I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to take a look at those. And the finish of the metal and the scroll work underneath, made to look Edwardian, made to look right around, late late teens, 1915, 1918, and beautifully done, beautifully executed, and I loved the color. I didn't care if they weren't real. Still, for $20, it had such a great appearance, and it's a very beautiful craft on that. So I said yes to that. This one my friend Jody picked out, and of course I bought it because he liked it, and I thought, well, he's got different tastes than I do, and this is sterling. This one came from another person. It was this one, and this one, this one, and this one. It was these four, and she had a three rings for $9. So there were three a piece, and then this one I added in. So it was, I think she gave them to me for $11 for all four of them. I think that's the way we did it. So they were $3 a piece, and that's sterling and just a synthetic blue stone. But I liked that kind of, reminiscent deco mounting. Needs to be polished a little bit and cleaned up. And I will be doing a video on polishing silver because I don't do it often, but when I do, I'd like to show you how I do it. This one's signed down in here, 925, and I really liked that design. Very simple wire construction, and then this kind of bypass, chevron or zigzag. I always like things that have motion to them. And I liked the simplicity of this. And that had been on the finger for a long time because it's kind of out of round. But our fingers aren't round, so someone that wore that really loved that ring. So yeah, that was a yes for very little money. And there's this one, sterling, and I've seen these before, but I liked the symmetry and then the asymmetry of those scrolls. That one's sterling as well. So I said yes to that because I can't make that for any less than $30 right now. It would take me $30 in wire just to create that simple sterling ring. So I said, yes, I'll take that. This one was just very cool. Art glass, kind of a slumped or a slag glass with these trapped bubbles in blue and light blue and kind of a turquoise color. Signed on in there, and then a bypass or a sizable shank that you can adjust. But I liked the openness of the side. That's just very cool. And I knew that would be, again, it'd be a quick sell. That one's not going to last long. I'm going to put that one out for, maybe even like 45. And I think that one will be snapped up pretty quick. Very good craft as well. Thick metal. I like the shank system as I try and figure out what ring finger I can wear it on. I'm glad that one's too small, otherwise I'd be keeping that one. So, and then the last one, and then I'm going to let you go for the day. This came from my friend Mimi, and you kind of always say I save the best for for last, and I did on this one. So, early on when I was collecting, some advanced collectors kind of made fun of me because I bought what I thought was a turquoise cuff. And I knew that it was Navajo, and it was Navajo, sterling silver, probably from like the later 50s. And I was sure that it was turquoise and sterling silver. Well, I had half of it right. It was sterling silver, and the stone was variscite. Variscite is kind of, until recently, it had been frowned upon as a, quote, cheap or a synthetic version of turquoise or a replacement for turquoise. Variscite is its own entity all itself, and this right here shows exactly why variscite should be taken very seriously. This is, I believe, Australian. I believe it's Australian. Variscite. I believe that would have been mined in Australia. For some reason, the color of the stone in the matrix and this kind of motion or kind of fugitive matrix in there. I believe it's a very strong copper-bearing stone, has high copper content, hence the more green hues in this, mint green, and then this kind of, amazing golden, tan, creamy matrix. I don't know what else to say. And the way the patterning in this is fantastic. So if you Googled a ring that looked like this, which my friend had done for me, the comps were like $385 to $485, and some were even $1,200 for a stone this size and this color and that kind of motion, because sometimes variscite does not look like that, but that's gem grade, top of the line variscite. And I wanted to bring that on because I want to say that variscite is an amazing stone all its own. Can't be knocked or said as, a trash version of turquoise. Variscite has its own strength. And what it does for the body is amazing. I looked up its properties, and I encourage you all to do a little bit more research on Veracite. So maybe that will get you onto maybe just buying one piece of Veracite for your collection. And I loved this, and I love the size of this ring. So, I always wear these two. I constantly wear them because I love them. And why wouldn't I love them, right? They're phenomenal. And so I would gladly, kind of trade these two in, and I would gladly wear this. I think that is an incredible mounting and an incredible stone. And I loved the size of it. And, the fact that it fit, definitely, maybe a keeper for a little while. So anyways, I thank you so much. I really appreciate everything that you do for me. And please continue to like, subscribe, and share me out. You all have done such a great job for me, and I'm just so internally grateful. So hopefully in the next video, I'll be a little bit chipper. Today was just kind of a little bit of an off day. And I know you take me for what I am. And I know that you, trust me, and you appreciate my honesty. And I trust you all. And I appreciate your honesty, and I mostly appreciate your love and affection. So happy Sunday. I hope you have an amazing rest of the week. I hope you're blessed and you're safe. And you know what I do? I love you simply because I do.